Have you ever wanted Lego to make something that means a lot to you and they didn't? Welcome to Pauley Builds. Today, we're tackling something that I've always wanted Lego to make, but they don't. And I understand why. There's way too many for them to have to keep up with. They couldn't do all of the ones that everybody would want, and it makes a lot of sense. I'm excited today because a friend has given me the opportunity to build his set for him. This set means a lot to me, and maybe it would to you if you happen to be a fan of... Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Horseshoe. This is gonna be a lot of fun for me. I've always loved the Ohio State Buckeyes. I haven't always been a huge football fan, my friends will tell you, but I grew into it, and boy, is this meaningful to me. This is also meaningful to me because my dad actually had a full-on scholarship to go be in the marching band for OSU, the best damn band in the land, and this is gonna mean a lot. Anyway, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it. Since it's not Lego, it's made by FOCO. I'm gonna have to look into that company a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure Ohio State reached out to have this made. Or maybe they're doing it on their own because they know that college people will want it. A friend at work, Boo, one of our team leaders in our area, found out that I'm doing some of these Lego sets like this, and he actually said, would you be willing to build it? He was surprised that I said yes. I would love to build that. I think I found out why he didn't want to build it and why he hasn't been able to make the time to do it. It's because it's 2,926 pieces. And then I also, when I got it in the car and kind of took a closer look at it, I looked at the actual size of the pieces. Looks a little small. The Lego pieces are generally much bigger and they're a little bit easier to handle. I did, when I got home, get this open just a little bit. Looks like Boo had already looked at it. And again, I want to say thanks. Boo, I really appreciate the opportunity to build this. This is exciting for me to be able to build this set in particular. I've always wanted the Horseshoe, and I'm so glad that this is going to help you out. But I really do thank you for the opportunity to do it. But back to the pieces. So I opened up and looked at the bags. It's very difficult to tell right there. We'll get some closer looks at it later, but those pieces are very small. A normal 3x1 piece. Yeah. Woo. Tiny little suckers. Anyway, we're gonna build it. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna talk about it when we're done to see how these compare to Legos. And it's a contender to Legos. I mean, you can't really knock Lego off its pillar just because they're Lego. They're untouchable in my opinion. You really can't build as well as they can, but there are companies out there that still do a really good job. But we're gonna build these and we're gonna enjoy every second of it because we're building the Horseshoe. All right, so let's get all this out. All right, unlike Lego, the bags are not numbered in any kind of order, so it looks like all of these bags are gonna get dumped out and you're gonna have to search through a pile of 3,000 pieces. I can see all the colors in all the bags. So I can see the green field and I can see all the white that's used on the outside of the building. Whew. This is gonna be entertaining, to say the least, and that is quite the book. Yep, FOCO.com is where you can go to look at some of these. And let's take a look here real quick. Wow, they've got some real comical things here. You can post a selfie of your bricks being built on Bricks LZ. Do not separate each color brick into its own pile, or do separate into each own pile. Don't make it rain. Okay. Do follow the colored bricks, you're doing great. And don't use the bricks as sprinkles on your ice cream. Are you kidding me? Don't follow the gray bricks in your instructions, you built those already. Wow, okay, so parts list. Oh my word, they really, this is like old school Lego where they give you a massive amount of things to put on and hope you see it all. So, okay, Yeah, it looks like they've got a lot. Again, I haven't really looked into the company, FOCO, but it looks like they actually have a whole lot of memorabilia for all kinds of sports fans. Really neat. So if you have a team that you want to have something that resembles or embodies your team, look at FOCO. Again, we'll talk about the quality of them when we get done building it, but this looks really neat that you can actually have something that, you know, shows off your team. That's awesome. But, okay, I'm nervous because this is a lot, but we're gonna do it. One brick at a time. One little tiny brick at a time. All right, let's go. All right, so this set was awesome. This set is nostalgic. It fits all of the desires needed for any college football fan that wants to have any stadium. And yes, I said any stadium. FOCO, the company that actually makes this, they seem to make every stadium. My brother-in-law is a Florida Gators fan. I know that I can get him the swamp if I wanted to. I looked and there are a bunch of college football stadiums on their website that look fantastic. They seem to fit exactly what any college football fan would want them to be. Just a bunch of nostalgia, a great memory. This is a fantastic thing to put on a shelf and enjoy. Now, at the same time, it is a labor of love. This set, the time lapse that you watched me put together, was 14 hours worth of work, plus or minus a little bit. I had to go pick up my kids at school. I had to then stop and get my wife at the airport. And then I also had to wake up the next morning and finish it. It was quite the task. My computer was not happy with me when I decided to actually record 14 hours worth of video and then tell it to compress it down to 1 minute. There was a lot of frames for it to calculate, and I think I did the calculation. It's upwards of 3 million frames all compressed into 1 minute. Yeah, my processor and my graphics card were, you know, they were pumping their fans to get that all put together. This, though, is absolutely worth purchasing and putting the time in if you enjoy building and doing Lego builds of this nature. For instance, you get to see on the Horseshoe, you get to see the media sign that they have up here. This one in particular has the make some noise on it. You have the field goals. You have the two towers on OSU's stadium. You have the media box up here at the top with little windows. And you have all the seating. All of these things are fantastic. And last year, my family, for the first time, we got to go to an OSU football game. Wonderful experience, very neat. And to go there and see it and look at it, Nathan, when he saw me building this and he saw I was getting close to the top, came in and said, "We sat right here, didn't we?" And I couldn't help but say, "Yeah, that's right where we sat." It's fantastic to be able to do that. And as a fan, if I were to start going to games more regularly, or if I was to go to multiple different games, I would find a way to get one of the leftover pieces that you have and that you're given by FOCO and start putting a piece everywhere I've sat in the stadium. I would find that as something neat to do. Now, again, that 14 hours of putting it together was gruesome. it took some time, and for sure. One thing about these though is the pieces are tiny. I know I mentioned it in the beginning. The pieces are absolutely ridiculously tiny, and I'm going to put a picture up of the two pieces, the two types of pieces right next to each other, multiple pieces. I'm going to show you everything as far as how they all look. I want to say thanks to Boo for letting me build this for him. I have every intention of returning it to him this week now that I'm able to do a finale video on it, but this is definitely awesome. You have all of your entrances, particularly the arch entrance in the front, which is so memorable for so many OSU fans. They walk up and they see that, just beautiful. Then you have on the sides all the entrances, some of them blocked out, some of them look like they're not. Even the player entrance over here is all there. Then you have the other team coming in. You have, of course, the shoe emblem here on the side, so that way you can show it off on a shelf properly. Me, personally, I would do something like what I have here. I would find a way to stand it up and have it on its side to where I can see into it, or have it on a really low shelf where I can see it more regularly. But fantastic. They even got the Blocko in the student section down here on that end. To be able to see the field and everything going on in here is absolutely amazing. I love it. Oh, it has the American flag in there too. Just a neat little touch, something that they can do. A red, white, and a red, and then they've got the little blue where the stars would be. It's small, but it gets the point across. You know exactly what it is. So nothing is a tall block. They don't have tall blocks to fill in. Everything is a plate. The directions are strictly two-dimensional. There is no three-dimensional picture at all showing you where the pieces go. The two dimensions actually end up being a little confusing because sometimes you literally have to count from a standing up over top of it going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you find yourself doing that more and more the closer to the top that you get because you can't keep track of what you're building on from the previous level. Every page is a new section. You would build this section around over here, then you'd come across and do the student section, then you'd build this section, and you would do one layer at a time until you get to the top. It was definitely tedious. Tedious would be a great word for it, but it really is a fantastic labor of love if it's something that you want to have. It really, really personifies what you would want it to be to sit on a shelf and look at it if you have an Ohio State room or a Michigan room or a Florida Gators room or a Florida Seminoles or whatever team that you are proud of and that you would want to show off, and you want to have a room dedicated to sitting down and watching them play. This is a fantastic thing to have. It's a great story to tell. It's an awesome little thing to put together. So overall, a lot of fun. I'm excited to give this back to Boo. I've shown him the time lapse and the video of getting it built, but I've held on to it to kind of retain my thoughts about what we were going to talk about here and whether this is a great thing to have. These are definitely not Legos. They do not go together the same quality way that all Lego sets actually do. They do not all meet up. There are on this set a lot of gaps between one layer to the next. And even if a lot of times, particularly with Nathan and the sets that he builds, I'll go along after he's done and I'll kind of give him that squeeze to make sure that all the pieces are all crimped down real nice and tight to each other and there's no gaps in them. This set, even though I do that, it's very difficult to get all of those little creases out. You're not going to really notice them too terrible much, but you will see them occasionally if you really go in to study it. There's a couple places that I'm not thrilled about, a couple of them in the columns, these concrete columns up here. There's one or two in the stands here. So they're not the quality craftsmanship that Legos are built towards, but they are fun and they do the job. They get the point across. I'm really thrilled with it. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I hope you have a great day. Go Buckeyes, down with Michigan. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. Boo, again, thank you for letting me build this set for you. It was an honor. I'm glad to be able to build it for you and now give it back to you so you can appreciate it. Go build some Legos and have fun with your family.